Batch jobs complete in minutes instead of hours, yet downstream system sees zero new data. The culprit, a global variable that never reset, yesterday's done flag silently killed today's run. Let's break down AutoSys Global Variables, how it works, and the exact mistake behind that failure. A global variable is like a shared whiteboard. One job writes a value, another reads it. But unlike a whiteboard, the value never disappears unless someone erases it. That's where teams get burned. To set a global variable from a job script, use the sendEvent command with the setGlobalEvent. The value is written to the event server asynchronously, so there's a tiny delay before it's readable. Here's a real script that counts records and sets a global variable. Notice the date-stamped version. That's a best practice we'll cover later. You can reference global variables in JIL Conditions using the variable function. But beware, if the variable doesn't exist, it returns an empty string, not an error. In numeric comparisons, that empty string is treated as zero, which can cause false positives. Here's a JIL condition that reads a global variable. The dangerous version passes if the variable is missing. The safer version explicitly checks existence first. Global variables do not reset between runs. A flag set on Monday is still there on Tuesday. That's why you must reset globals at the start of each workflow, not the end. Date-stamped names like count20260319 eliminate stale value bugs entirely. Here's the reset pattern. The first job in your box unconditionally clears all globals the workflow uses. This ensures a clean slate every run. The sendEvent eSetGlobal syntax shown in this article is supported in AutoSys R11 and later. In older versions, R10 or earlier, the command was sendEvent eGlobalG name equals value. If your environment predates R11, adjust accordingly. Also, the variable function in JIL Conditions was introduced in R11.3. Earlier releases used global variable instead. The article mentions resetting globals at workflow start, but doesn't show a concrete JIL example. Here's a reset job that clears all workflow-specific globals unconditionally as the first job in a box. This prevents stale flags from the previous run. Production caveat, global variable audit trail. When a workflow skips, first check your global variables. List them all with auto status G% and look for stale flags. Check the reset jobs logs. If a flag is still set from a previous run, clear it with an empty setGlobal. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. The workflow pattern was check flag at start if done exit, process data. Set flag equals done at end. Monday, flag empty processed, set flag equals done. Tuesday, flag still done, exited at step 1. The flag was never reset. A global variable, flag, set in Monday's run persisted to Tuesday, causing the batch to skip processing because the condition evaluated true immediately. The fix resets the variable at the start of the workflow. The fix is simple: reset globals at the start of each workflow. Add a reset job that clears all flags before processing. Better yet, use date-stamped variable names so each run has its own unique flag. This prevents stale values from ever causing issues. This is the exact bug from our hook. The flag was set to done at the end of Monday's run. Tuesday morning, it was still done, so the workflow checked the flag and exited immediately. No data processed. No error. setGlobal is asynchronous. If your downstream job starts in the same second, it might not see the value yet. Always add a small delay or use condition dependencies to enforce ordering. Cross-domain global variables are eventually consistent at best. The sync interval defaults to 60 seconds. If you need real-time coordination, use a file-based heartbeat with age checks instead. If trade count was never set, variable returns empty string, which is treated as 0. So greater or equals 0 is true, and the condition passes even though the variable is missing. Always check existence first. Let's run through some common interview questions. How do you set a global variable? sendEvent eSetGlobalG name equals value. How do you read a global variable? AutoStatus gname or variable name in JIL. What naming convention do you use? Workflow prefix purpose with date stamps. How do you prevent stale globals? Reset at start, use date-stamped names, audit quarterly. And a few frequently asked questions. What is a global variable? A key value pair in the event server, persistent until cleared. How do I clear a global variable? Send event eset global g name equals with empty value. What does variable, missing, return? Empty string, not an error, treats as 0 in numeric comparisons. To wrap up, global variables are powerful but dangerous. Reset them at the start of each run, use date-stamped names, and always check existence in conditions. Audit your globals regularly to avoid orphan variables. Ready to go deeper? Up next, AutoSys date conditions and run window, then AutoSys job status codes explained, then AutoSys send event command. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.